It's the Public Health, Safety, and Transportation Committee. It is Tuesday, March 11th, 2025. Please call the roll.
Chairperson Mike Seville.
Here.
Vice Chair Bill Donnell.
Here.
Alderwoman Wani Garza.
Here.
Alderman John Lash.
Present.
Alderman Tim Masiakos.
Present.
5 present.
Okay, the first item on the agenda is approval of the minutes, 25-0185. Approval of
Second.
the minutes from the Public Health, Safety, and Transportation Committee held on February 25th, 2025. It's been moved by Alderman Donnell, second by Alderwoman Garza. Any corrections, additions, or deletions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried 5-0. Any members of the public wishing to give testimony?
No one has signed up.
Okay, we'll go to the heart of the agenda then. The first item is 25-0176. Resolution approving the Anthem Excavation and Demolition, Inc., Aurora, Illinois, as a 2025 contractor with a possible 2 one-year extension for junk and trash abatement services within the city of Aurora. Ruthie, welcome.
Hello, good afternoon. Ruthie Harris with the City of Aurora Property Standards. I am here seeking approval to accept Anthem Excavation and Demolition as the contractor to abate violations of the junk and trash ordinance. And that will be for the 2025 year with a possible 2 one-year extensions after that. Any questions? I'll be happy to answer.
Any questions of the committee? Alderman Lash?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just a quick, can you just give an overview of what this is for?
This is for the properties that have citations due to being in violation of the junk and trash ordinance. And if they don't come into compliance within the time frame allowed to abate that violation, then the city hires will come into the contract with Anthem Excavation, and they will go out and clean the property, and the owner is billed for that service.
Okay. Is there any potential use? I know we've had a lot of trash and garbage pickup, not always on our property, but for the unhoused population that sometimes leave garbage. Is there any room for that in this as well, or is this the right venue for that?
We have used this budget item for private properties that have been affected by the unhoused population. If there is junk and trash at that location and it is private, we try to work with the private owner, or if it is city-owned, then we use those funds to clean it up.
Okay. And then what happens if, let's say, we estimate, I don't know how many houses we estimated for, but we estimate for 100, but we end up only using 35?
Then that money goes back into the general fund. We don't just allocate it to any other line item.
Thank you. No further questions, Mr. Chairman.
And Ruthie, do we currently have a vendor that we use?
We are using Anthem Excavation, and they are the ones that were the lowest and most responsible bidder with the bid invitations that were given, that were sent out.
Okay, thank you. Any further discussion?
So moved to approve.
Motion made by
Second.
Alderwoman Garza, second by Alderman Lash. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried 5-0. The second item on the agenda is 25-0178. A resolution awarding Tavares and Sons Lawn Care LLC of Illinois as the 2025 contractor with a possible 2 one-year extensions for grass and weeds abatement services within the city of Aurora.
All right, again, Ruthie Harris with Property Standards, and I am seeking approval to accept Tavares and Sons as the contractor for 2025 to abate the properties that are in violation of the grass and weed ordinances after they've been cited and they have not come into compliance with the time frame given. And currently, Tavares and Sons Lawn Care LLC is our current contractor, and they have been for the past few years. So I am seeking approval for this year with an additional 2 one-year extensions.
Any questions? Alderman Donnell?
So Ruthie, I understand that this is for those people that are in violation.
Yes.
I know we do have some city-owned lots. Are you going to come to us with another contract for taking care of those city lots?
The city lots will be combined, the portions that I deal with in Property Standards, along with Josh Alcaraz, those are going to be combined with all the other lots within the city that has to do with streets and parks. So they will all be combined into one and will be presented.
And then
That
we
should be coming pretty
we
soon.
will contract that, a portion of that?
Yes, and those are going to go to different vendors depending on how they bid and what their cost was on their bid proposal.
Very good, thank you.
Ruthie, normally when they have violation with the grass, so they let us know to the owner?
Yes,
Okay, if they never put attention, is when you guys send to cut the grass?
yes.
And they send the bill later?
Yes.
How much is it?
Well, for this one here, the bid proposal that was submitted by Tavares and Sons for a lot that's anywhere from 0 to 5,000 square yards, it'll be $70. And then if it's over 5,001 to 10,000, it'll be $90. So there is that set fee, and it is on the bid tabulation that was submitted on the Legistar item.
Right,
Okay.
thank you.
Alderman Lesh?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. What did we do in the process of putting this out to bid?
I will refer to Jolene there.
And I was going to ask, based on the name, I would assume it's a minority-owned contractor, but
Yes.
that's my second question.
It is.
Jolene Coulter, Director of Purchasing. Yes, we've done a formal bid process for this. We send it out. It's been posted for 15 days. Was this our first one on OpenGov? Or right
This
before
one, no,
OpenGov?
it was right
Okay,
before.
Right before OpenGov. So, but we mail out, we reach out to our vendors that we know currently do mowing in the city. We reach out to them. Tavares has been very responsible and not everybody wants to take on these kind of contracts. They're not guaranteed. There's no set, I'm coming in every week doing this mowing every week. Not many vendors want to take that. We've actually, after discussions with one of the vendors, they withdrew.
Yeah.
So they just don't want to come in when they're not getting guaranteed funds. So Tavares is unfortunately just outside of Aurora. They're a township, but he's close. He's always been willing to, and he's a hard worker. He's great to work with, so
Yeah.
very responsive.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
And Jolene or Ruthie, since it is so sporadic, how many times a year do you on average do we use?
In 2023, we had a total of 614 citations, but out of those 614, 502 were in compliance, leaving 112 properties that we had to abate. In 2024, we had a little bit higher abatement through the contractor at 182. So it just all depends. And in '24, we had about 515 properties that were cited. So the majority of them are taken care of through citation, through communication with the inspector and the property owners. But some of them, they don't, for whatever the reasons may be, and then we come in with the contractor and abate.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
Any further discussion?
Just one
Motion to
kind of
approve.
technical
No.
question. So as I understand it, if a property's vacant, then we don't have to wait for notification. Is that still the case?
Yes, it is. If the property is vacant, and I post the notice in the newspaper per the ordinance twice in May, and it has to be the first week and the second week in May, and then we, at that point, we can abate without having to send notification to the owners.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Motion to approve?
Alderman Lesh?
I'll second your motion, but quick discussion point. Does that include the vacant, does that include foreclosures or in the process of foreclosure?
Yes, it includes residential foreclosure, abandoned properties. It also includes commercial property as well.
No further questions.
Okay, the motion been made for approval by Alderwoman Garza, second by Alderman Lash. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, motion carried, 5-0. Thank you.
Thank
The last item is 25-0198, a resolution authorizing the Director of Purchasing to execute the service agreement approving of third-party administrative services for the Boys and Girls Club of North Central Illinois to administer the 2025 summer programs in an amount not to exceed $180,000 for the Youth Services Division. Simon.
Good afternoon, Simon Rodriguez. Things happened at Debo last time. All right, Simon Rodriguez, Youth Services Manager, City of Aurora. do we have the display on? Can't see it here. Oh. Maybe it's coming up. So, excuse me, while we wait for this to show up on the screen. So as you know, we come to you every year with a request to work with a community partner to provide services for our summer camp programs. So that is what we are here to do. But I also want to thank all of our aldermen making themselves available last minute last week to meet with us to answer any questions and concerns, especially with this year being a change in our provider. I'm sure I want to have a presentation, but it's not connecting. I don't know if we can get IT out here. Can we get IT? Oh, okay, it's communications, okay. Well, again, visuals are always better, right? So. It's buffering. Oh. Hey, Alex.
Plugged into the podium or the to
Easier. Thank you.
The noise? Shut it off. Just drive me out this crazy period.
Take this out. Remember that's the one I used. Okay, there we go. Thank you so much, Alex. Such a great team. Thank you. All right. So again, my name is Simon Rodriguez, here to present on our agreement for our 2025 summer camps. So as you can see here, we're very excited for the potential to be working with the Boys and Girls Club of North Central Illinois. In this slide, I'll show, in this presentation, I'll show a little bit of information, overview of this agreement, and as well as introducing our partners with the Boys and Girls Club so they can share a few words about their organization as well. So the agreement overview is we wanted to maintain similar services as we've had in the past with cities and schools. So they'll provide services for 5 camps, 1 in each school district in our traditional setting, as well as a citywide theater camp. The amount is not to exceed $180,000. Our budget is $155,000, which will retain $25,000 or 15% in contingency funds for the possibility of increasing participants, in programming. And one of the things that we highlight that's included in the exhibits are the Boys and Girls Club nationally ranked policies and procedures covering every aspect of youth programming, from field trip policies, incident reports, and how to jot that down step by step. Hiring, orientations, fingerprints, everything that we need as a minimum. I think they've exceeded our expectations in regards to their what I call world-class policies. Again, due to our timeline, that is why we're recommending a sole source, but with the anticipation of RFP going out for next year's programming. This is a quick overview of our sites that we will have for this year, based in, again, as I mentioned, the 4 different school districts that are that we provide a service for camp at each site, each school district. So for West Aurora District 129 will be at Hill Elementary School. East Aurora will be at Johnson Elementary. Oswego, we're waiting on finalization, but it'll be between the Wheatlands or Homestead. And again, Oswego School District, it is an Aurora school for the Aurora families that attend one of those 2 schools. For Indian Prairie 204, we'll be at Fisher Middle School. And our theater camp, which is a citywide camp available to all Aurora students, as long as they are Aurora resident, they qualify. That one's taking place this year at Jefferson Middle School. We like to alternate between east and west side of Aurora every year. Last year it was on the east side. This year will be on the west side. All our camps are tentative for June 9th through July 3rd, a Monday through Thursday, 8:30 a.m. to 2 p.m. So this is consistent with what we've done over the last few years. Our 4 traditional camps in each school district are 1st through 5th grade students, with our theater camp being for our 3rd through 8th graders. And then the capacities for each camp is 100 students at each of those 4 traditional camps, with up to 50 students for our theater camp. So the anticipation of serving 450 students this year. And this is just to show you, visually show you on a map where these 5 locations will be hosting our summer camps for this year. And some of the questions we get asked over the years as well is, what other programs outside of what we're offering here? We want to make sure that our community is aware that there are other programs, other camps offered outside of the City of Aurora funded camps. And this is information that is still being collected. As some of you know, our school districts are still finalizing a lot of their summer programs, registration, locations, et cetera. So the information that we've been able to find, gather so far is West Aurora School District has, in addition to our camp, multiple other summer camps that they're going to fund through their 21st Century dollars. And that is being in partnership with both the Fox Valley Park District as well as the Boys and Girls Club. They also have athletic camp registration that's actually open right now, and that's available at their website. East Aurora School District 131 currently has registration for their STEAM camps, and I spoke with them a few days ago. They're finalizing their normal day camps as well. And that information will be out soon. So once we have this, you definitely want to get this information out to our community. Indian Prairie 204 has also some STEM camps now open for registration, and we're waiting to hear back to see what programs, their traditional summer camps that they'll have. Same thing with Oswego. That is their website for 308 families to go to look up different programming for the summer. Currently, I think they have summer school registration, but not their programming information yet. The other thing I want to highlight is we have a variety of different partners in our community that provide programming year-round, but specifically for summer, I will reference and continue to reference, we're going to have a big push in April for our youth resource guide. This is available already online. Folks can access it in English and Spanish, as well as we do have copies. I did leave some at the Alderman's office for any of you folks that want to share this with your community groups. This is, our 2024 version is updated, but we're going to have a new version coming out in an updated version in 2025 in April. So we really want to highlight programs like, again, the Park District, Aurora Township, APS, just a lot of our partners in the community that offer programming year-round, but a special focus on our summer programming. And just a little bit of the highlights. Again, you did receive the 2024 summer report that CIS provided, which is an expectation of our agreement with any of our vendors to provide just some highlights. So these are just some snippets that I wanted to share with you. But again, in your in Legistar, we did update the full report, so you can see that with pictures and different highlights of the programs that we provided last year. So in total, we serve 305 students at each of those locations there. I also love that, one of the things that we've always done and will continue to do so is survey our parents and survey our students. First and foremost, safe environment. I think anyone that works with our young people, that's the priority. Are they in a safe and caring environment, right? A lot of our students, we want to ensure that that's the first thing. Second is, can we, create a positive experience for them? So as you can see here, some of the indicators of students that responded to the survey. If you look at that short-term outcome, I feel safer during the day at the summer camp program. 96% agreed. So again, that's something that we're looking for, obviously, is an overwhelming, and if you see the rest of the indicators there, overwhelming amount of students, feel that they'd want to come back, that they would ask a friend to join them at camp. So this is really our focus, right, is creating a safe and welcoming space for our kids, and even our drama students as well. Many of them gain deeper understanding of the various roles involved in putting a production. So there is absolute education in this, in our programming through, again, a safe and caring environment. And again, when we looked at the sites, the big thing that we just want to mention briefly is how do we select sites? So we work with our school district partners, obviously. Many of the indicators and how we choose, how we are given a site is our districts will prioritize their summer school programs, their in-district programs, as well as any type of construction and significant updates, which again, over the summer is the ideal time for our school districts to work on that. And then some of our expectations are to have at least 5 classrooms. We break our kids up into 5 different groups according to age group. A gymnasium or cafeteria that's used for both of those purposes as well as for recreation. Playground is not necessary but preferred because we really want our kids outside. There's no better time than the summer, right, to be outside, getting some sunlight, getting some activity, keeping our kids active and engaged. It's great for their mental as well as their physical health. And obviously safety features that include the following there. And that's why schools are the absolute best to have, best location, right, to have our programming, because all of these things are a minimum that these schools will have. And all schools that we're in will also have their staff that works year-round, that checks folks in. The normal procedures that are done during the school year is done during our summer camps. And in regards to marketing, we really want to get the word out there. We want to make sure that our families know that both, we want students to sign up for this program, but we also want to get folks summer jobs, right, is a big thing. So we do hire youth staff as well as adult staff that maintain our camps. So through partnering with our school districts to get the word out to their parent groups, email blasts. We have our Youth and Family Resource Fair coming up on April 30th, which all of you will receive that information. But we use that as an opportunity to get folks to sign up for not just our programs, but the many programs that will be marketed there. Our neighborhood groups, working with our neighborhood groups team to ensure that our aldermen as well as our neighborhood group outreach team has the information to share. Our youth resource guide, as I mentioned before, as well as utilizing our wonderful media team to get the word out through our social media sites, media posts, and other avenues that we have. And then really briefly, what does our timeline look like? Well, April is really the deadline month, we like to say, to apply for different applications for our lunch providers like the Northern Illinois Food Bank. Applications go out to our families typically in April, and that's in line with our other program providers in the community. We want to be kind of on the same page with them. To hire staff to do all your fingerprint and background checks and orientations does take time. And as well as, again, our final push at the resource fair, as well as other things like certificates of insurance, vendor approvals, getting the rights for our theater camp, et cetera. So it's a long process to get everything rolling by the time we start in early June. And I always like to share just some final pictures of what our program looked like last year and why we do what we do, right? It's to benefit our kids who we know there's a great need out there, and we are a partner in the grand picture, right, of all our partners that are providing services for our kids. So I'm very proud of all the work that we do. I'm proud of the work that our partners do in our community. So this is just, I like to say, it is a big part. I can't say it's a small part. It's a big part of an even larger picture, providing services for our kids. So that is my presentation. I'd like to bring the Boys and Girls Club folks up just to share some brief words, if that's okay with everyone.
Please
We
do.
have, I'm sorry?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So we have Natalie Pollock, Lizmo Garcia, and Cedric Williams here, and they have some information here that I'll pull up, and then we'd love to answer any questions that you may have.
I'm short. Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. Thank you so much for having us today. We're really excited to present to you. I'm Liz Mo Garcia. I'm the Chief Development Officer for the Boys and Girls Clubs of North Central Illinois, joined by my colleague Natalie Pollock, our Chief Operating Officer. I'm going to get started and go through the first couple of slides and then turn it over to Natalie. Just want to touch on our mission for all of you. So our mission is to enable all young people, especially those who need us most, to reach their full potential as productive, caring, responsible citizens. If you're not familiar with our model, we serve youth from kindergarten through 12th grade, and throughout their time at the Boys and Girls Club, they're participating in sports and recreation, academic programs, things like STEM and art, and if all goes right, they persist through our program, graduate high school on time with a plan for their future. This is just a little snapshot of the timeline of our organization. So you can see that we were founded in Elgin in 1993. You may have been more familiar with our previous name, Boys and Girls Club of Elgin, but as the timeline represents, we've grown outside of Elgin. We are now serving youth in South Elgin, Schaumburg, Streamwood, Hanover Park, Batavia, and Aurora. And so now we are the Boys and Girls Clubs of North Central Illinois. Collectively, we serve youth at 35 sites throughout that region, about 3,000 kids a year, about 1,800 a day. And just to share a little bit more detail about our Aurora footprint, so we began serving youth in the 2022-23 school year at 4 sites in partnership with School District 131. Really, that came to be based on a collection of folks in the community who got together and felt there was a need to provide additional after-school programming for our Aurora youth. They contacted Boys and Girls Clubs of America. That is our parent organization. We are an independent organization that is managed independently of that organization, but all Boys and Girls Clubs across the country roll up into that national umbrella. So started with 4 school-based sites in partnership with School District 129, additional partnerships with Aurora Women's Empowerment Foundation, the Community Foundation, and really since then we've continued to grow. So currently we're operating at 8 sites in the Aurora region, 7 school-based sites in partnership with 129, and 1 brand new site at Waubonsie Community College at the downtown Aurora campus. That is just brand spanking new, so we're just getting started there. And then continuing to develop partnerships in the area. We have a great partnership with Aurora University. We actually employ social work students as interns. We have a goal of having a social work student or intern at each of our sites. I think we're up to about 20, give or take. So that is continuing to grow. And really this overall, we are working towards what we call our moonshot. We know that across the country, there are about 25 million youth that don't have anywhere to go after school. Locally in our region, it's about 50,000, and we're doing our part to try and address that. So Aurora is just really a big part of that goal to serve more kids, give them a safe place to go after school, and maybe have some fun along the way, develop some friendships, and grow up to be successful, contributing citizens. With that, I'll turn it over to Natalie.
Yeah, so I'll be brief with the rest of our presentation. So as Liz mentioned, we really are trying to create well-rounded students and ensure that we're addressing all of their needs. At the foundation of what Boys and Girls Club does, we provide accessible programs, and so we want to ensure that cost is never a barrier to participation and that any student who can reach us is eligible to participate. Then we know that the next level is ensuring that students and families feel safe and that their basic needs are being met within our programs. Beyond that, we're focusing on social emotional learning, academic success, and as students grow and age through our program, ensuring that they have exposure to workforce readiness so that when they graduate from high school, they are graduating with a plan for whether it be college, trade school, military. They know what they're doing once they finish high school. Just very briefly, some people wonder, what it is that Boys and Girls Clubs do to ensure a high-quality program for our youth. And so all of our systems are aligned to ensure, our governance, our finance, and fundraising, and resource development. And we really focus on 3 main areas: program operations that are targeted with skill building programs. There's a lot of intentionality to meet youth needs. We know that management practices really matter. If a student is to have an optimal club experience, the staff members leading them should also be having an optimal club experience and be happy employees within our organization. And then we know that the culture and environment of our workplace and youth serving clubhouses has to be trauma-informed, has to focus on a culture of learning and human-centered leadership, so that the result of that is high-quality staff practices, and then we know that youth begin to have meaningful experiences, they have supportive, healthy relationships, and they're participating in safe and inclusive environments. And that begins to lead to really those outcomes that we're trying to achieve with our mission. Our programs, again, a very wide variety. We're not focused in just one area, but we provide what we call Project Learner Power Hour, which focuses on academic success. We emphasize youth leadership and service. We're focusing Smart Moves stands for skills, mastery, and resistance training. So just healthy decision making and ensuring that you're avoiding risky behaviors. Triple Play focuses on our health and life skills. Youth arts, obviously, and then life and workforce readiness. So a really well-rounded experience. As Simon had mentioned, our goal is to align with exactly what families in Aurora have expected in the past. So we want to make sure that at minimum we're meeting what they've grown to love and enjoy about their summer programs. So in each of those school districts, serving 400 students in the traditional camps and up to 50 students in the theater camp. Here's a sample of a traditional camp weekly schedule, just to get an idea of all the different programs that we're weaving in, so that when students are with us, they're experiencing our traditional Boys and Girls Clubs of America curriculum, in addition to having enrichment programs with special guests. Last year in 129, we had drone technology come out, and kids were able to actually fly their own drones and learn about what that means as a potential career and as a focus on STEM. And then, of course, sprinkling in fun opportunities to enjoy adventures in the community, whether it be bowling or visiting a baseball game, so that kids can come together. As I mentioned briefly before, but just to kind of hone in on what some of our safety policies and procedures are, in order to be a Boys and Girls Club organization, there are certain membership requirements that our organization must meet in order to use that logo and brand with our programs. So we have to align not only with the Boys and Girls Club of America, but also because we are a certified CCAP Child Care Assistance Program provider through IDHS, we have to follow all of their safety protocols as well. That includes criminal background checks, including fingerprinting, which we do in-house for all employees and volunteers, with regular recurrent contact with our youth members. All employees must be CPR and first aid trained. There's a standard protocol, as Simon mentioned, for reporting and addressing not only day-to-day incidents, but critical incidents. We're actually required to report any critical incidents related to child abuse or suspected abuse to our national office, so that they can support us through that. Every employee is required to complete safety training for child abuse prevention, mandated reporting, grooming prevention, and awareness of what that means for adult staff with youth, and then a review of our safety policies, including very specific guidance on restroom use, and avoidance of one-on-one interactions with youth at all costs, and how to translate your on-site supervision skills to off-site locations, such as field trips and the sort. Every employee conducts what we call NEO, or our new employee orientation, so that we can ensure they're completing all of those basic safety trainings, understanding what it means to be a youth development professional, and upholding the expectations of being a Boys and Girls Club employee. Our leadership model that we see currently in Aurora, and that would be included in this camp as well, we have a regional director that oversees all operations and collaborates with community stakeholders. Depending on how large the region is, right now in Aurora, we have 2 area managers that oversee several club sites, ensuring a strong partnership with the school, if it's during the school year, or a community partner, such as the City of Aurora, for successful club operations. From there, each site has a site coordinator to support a team of 2 to 5 youth development assistants. that is responsible for the day-to-day operations, handling incidents, managing parent relationships, and ensuring that the kids are having a great experience. There will also be an assistant site coordinator that ensures implementation of daily program calendars, support with behavior response plans, and data entry into our My Club Hub platform, which allows us to track youth progress. Finally, we have youth development assistants that implement programs with a group of 15 to 20 youth. 1 to 20 is the maximum ratio allowable by Boys and Girls Club of America, and we usually serve about 1 to 15. Anytime we're partnering with any sort of entity, whether it's a school campus or a local community center, we want to ensure that that campus has access to program spaces with the capacity to serve at least 100 youth each day. So we've been working closely with Simon to identify those school locations, ensuring that there's a meal program partnership to provide youth with nutritious meals. We know that not every child has the ability to pack a lunch with them every day for summer camp. Opportunities to engage families and youth for recruitment purposes, so ensuring that there's a strong connection to ensure families know about us as a newer partner, and then invitations to meet with other key stakeholders within our partnership so that others know, similar to what we're doing right now, what the Boys and Girls Club is all about. And then, of course, we have a formal memorandum of agreement so that we're all clear on insurance policies and liability and things of the sort. Finally, I just want to close. So as Simon mentioned, our program, we implement annual surveys with our youth members, our staff members, with our school partners. And so this is data from last year at the end of the school year. So 95% of families believe that the club is a safe place for their children to work, learn, and have fun. 95% of families believe that at the club, staff really care about my children. On the opposite end of the spectrum is our stakeholders, and our primary stakeholders are school partners. School faculty and staff would recommend the Boys and Girls Club of North Central Illinois to another school district or a community partner. That's 94%. And 91% of school faculty and staff believe that the club is an important part of their school. Thank you so much for allowing us to share a lot of information with you in a little bit of time. We welcome any questions that you may have.
Yeah, thank you. Any questions at the committee?
Question.
Alderman Janelle?
Thank you for a very thorough presentation, and I think you kind of you hit on at the end of your presentation your relationship with the school district. So, so I know currently CIS has a good relationship. They kind of work hand in glove. So, can you describe, how you would approach the school districts, or how you do approach the school districts today to share information on and have kind of a seamless experience for the kids?
Absolutely. So I'm not even joking. All of our staff, in their job description, it is our goal to make our school partners raving fans of the Boys and Girls Club. That's the exact words in our job description. And so that really just shows the prioritization of ensuring that there's a strong partnership. As you saw those layers of leadership, everyone interacts with the schools a little bit differently. Our regional directors and myself, depending on the district, really interact at the district level. So whether it's working through food services partnerships, transportation, really that higher level. The area managers and the site coordinators are really facilitating those school partnerships. So whether it's having quarterly meetings with principals, addressing incidents that may occur at a more frequent, than a quarterly meeting, ensuring that we're participating in school events so that families know what we are beyond an email or a flyer, and they can put a face to the name. And really connecting with, it's not just the principal, it's the office professionals, it's the custodians, it's the bus drivers, and really ensuring that everyone's on the same page with very open and honest communication. We welcome feedback. We know that every school district works a little bit differently. They may have different policies that we have to adapt to. And something as simple as, are you allowed to put flyers in backpacks or not? Some districts allow us to, some people don't. So just kind of asking and having that communication to ensure that we're upholding their expectations as well as our families. We have a lot of different stakeholders to navigate.
Just a quick follow-up. So I know you use schools, but I know you also have some clubs, standalone clubs. What schools do you use in Aurora today, and in the area that you expanded since we last talked, where do you have standalone clubs?
Yeah, so of the 35 sites that Liz mentioned, I'm going to start org-wide and then I'll dial down to Aurora. We have 3 standalone facilities in Elgin, South Elgin, and Schaumburg. The other 32 facilities, 31 are with school partners, and then we have 1 partnership with Waubonsee Community College, which is new. So the vast majority of our operations are in school districts, in U46, in 129, and in Batavia. So in Batavia specifically, or I'm sorry, excuse me, in Aurora specifically, we are currently in Fern, Freeman, Goodwin, Greenman, Hill, Herget, McCleary, and there's one more I can't think of off the top of my head, but all in West Aurora. I know, so close. I got an A- on it. But yeah, we're primarily in West Aurora.
All right, thank you.
Mr. Chair.
Alderman Masiacos.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I guess I got 2 questions for you. My first one is, you're mentioning public institutions, public schools. What, if any, do you participate with private schools? We have private schools here in the city as well, and not everybody has them. You know, some families have just enough money to send their kids to school.
Sure. That is a really good question, and currently, right now, we don't have a well, EMSA, right?
Yeah, it's a charter.
It's charter. So we don't. Our model is very flexible. So the overwhelming majority of our current partners are public schools. However, we're not limited to that. We can partner with private schools. There are many Boys and Girls Clubs that offer programming at housing authorities. So the model is flexible. Our goal is really to serve kids where there are needs. And I'd say in general, we are open to new partnerships. If there are folks that would like to chat with us, we'd love to do it.
So you don't reach out to them? You just wait for them if they want to? That's what it sounded like.
Generally, our growth is more grassroots and kind of going where there's need and where folks are indicating, hey, we have kids that need to be served.
And I will share, just to add to that, as we're planning, Liz mentioned our moonshot. We're really evaluating, right now our footprint is broad, but there's communities in between that there may be gaps of service. And so it really is a strategic goal. We like to start where we have established relationships because it aids in that partnership with school districts and such. But we're not precluding other institutions. And so we are in conversations with, maybe there's local churches or other organizations that we are connecting with. We may not per se be doing that connection, but through our board partnerships, they're also our eyes and ears in the community to say, hey, I've noticed there's a need here. Would you be willing to have a meeting with them? Okay. So our board really serves as that liaison to be able to connect us and be seeking out other opportunities.
Because the majority of these schools are connected to a church as well.
Yeah.
They're taxpayers as well, and these dollars coming from the city, come in your direction. It'd be great to see it expand if that's what you're looking to do in terms of relationships. Sometimes people don't know you exist, so they're never going to come. So I don't know how that outlook. You're waiting for them to come to you. But the second question is, I see you have clubs here, and how do they compete, if any, with existing clubs? I mean, do you survey the community to see what types of sports or arts clubs there are?
I mean, I don't want to.
Yeah, I can answer that. So I think the difference between Boys and Girls Club, you saw our program schedule features, a well-rounded experience.
I was looking at your website just now a little bit while I was listening to you.
Yeah, sure. And so for us, it's not just an art club. Youth, anyone who's enrolled in the Boys and Girls Club will have access to that art program. And so I think the biggest difference between us is that whereas there may be a sports program that serves youth on Mondays and Wednesdays from 3 to 4 p.m., or they go to robotics on Tuesdays from 3 to 4, Boys and Girls Club is from when the time the school bell rings until 6 p.m. And all of those program activities, youth have access to them. So they're not picking and choosing. They do have choice within the program, but really the big difference is that our model, when people sign up for the Boys and Girls Club, they're signing up for a full after-school daycare program.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
Good question.
This
Alderman
question is for
Garza.
Simon. In the summer program, Simon, when kids are from the past year, they accepting this year in this program?
So,
in summer camps?
yes, your question again, if
If the kid was last year in the summer camp, so
Yes.
this is allowed to be participate again
Oh,
this
yes,
year?
absolutely, yes.
But sometimes it's brothers and sisters, and
Mhm.
they pass the grade 5th. So how they
Oh,
do
I see what
that?
you mean. Like if they, let's say there's siblings and they were both last year.
Yes.
But now this year, the oldest sibling is in middle school.
Yes.
Yes.
So then, in that case,
typically in that case, if they're finishing 5th grade and going to 6th grade, they do qualify. But if they just completed a middle school program to be in an elementary level, at least for this year, they won't qualify as they have in the past.
okay.
But however, as I mentioned before, there are a wide variety of other programming. I know, again, depending on their district. So we do have families, please send them our way because we can connect them to some of our partners that will be serving the middle school age group.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
And we really try our best, especially like
Yes.
we've had instances too where like, let's say they're 1 year apart, 2nd and 3rd grade, they want to be in the same classroom because, I mean, that's a
Yes.
no, we can easily accommodate.
Okay.
Alderman Lesh.
Thank you, Chairman. Alderman Donnell asked an excellent question, but as far as integrating things like staff with CIS and people that have experience with our existing program and now coming into your program, what efforts do you intend to make to staff up and try and bring some experience with?
Yeah, I appreciate you saying that. For us, we welcome the opportunity to partner with CIS. We know that there are employees who have been working with their organization for years and they bring a wealth of experience. And so as long as they complete, everyone has to complete our same interview process, but if we know, hey, these people have worked with the camps for the last 5 years, we're gonna rely on our relationship with the city of Aurora to bridge that gap and be able to, say, hey, these are people who have been working there, or we would review their resume to be able to see that information. They have to complete the same background check and screening that everyone does. No one gets to opt out of that despite their experience or if their current school district.
As long as they get a chance
Yes,
to apply.
absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
And to answer your question, Alderman, we are actually going to work with getting the information of our staff from last year and reach out to them.
Okay, and then I have a few more questions. I'll try and keep it short. You mentioned critical incident reports go up through your chain. I assume they also go to local authorities to be addressed as well. Okay, just making sure. And then I noticed all of your schools are in District 129 that you're currently working with. Obviously, as a former teacher in 131, I'm sure Simon can bring some resources, but have we started that process? I mean, we have one identified location, but what about using the new Resilience Education Center or trying to, bring that in? And
Can I address that, Alderman? So, yeah, one of the things that really excites me about this partnership is while they've done a fantastic job in 129, this is our opportunity for them to expand into these other 3 school districts with hopefully the opportunities to expand further into other schools, especially as we see new funding opportunities, with grant funds and such coming for the fall. So I look at this as a good first step into more programming.
And then as far as working with other community groups, I know that the city also funds APS. Are we working to integrate them into any of these programs, either in this year or future endeavors?
We do currently work with them already in our schools in 129 where we're established, and that is the plan, to continue that partnership integrated into the summer programs as well.
And how about other groups like African American Men of Unity?
We are definitely open to that. We currently partner with DuPage Children's Museum as well, and we welcome any sort of enrichment opportunities. We do have a line item in the budget that covers the cost of any of those partners as well.
Okay. And then I think my last 2 questions are for Simon.
Yes.
What's our registration date for parents?
So we're hoping at once this is finalized, hopefully at March 25th City Council, we can begin the process at that time. But I believe there's an April 1st is our tentative launch date to get, because that's, I believe, also your other programming. So we want to be in line with what they're currently doing with our programs to be able to be launched at that time as well.
And then is there any initiatives, you mentioned a lot of online and digital outreach efforts to either put it in the school newsletters, our newsletter, or working with our community engagement office to get actual flyers to people that may or may not be online?
Absolutely, yeah, and we're working on, as I shown on the other slide, we always have flyers in both English and Spanish. So we have a concerted effort on our end, and obviously the Boys and Girls Club also does a phenomenal job with their social media outreach to getting it to multifaceted ways, so to our aldermen, to our neighborhood groups, the City of Aurora's social media, as well as our social media, Youth Services social media. So as I showed in the slide earlier, that's our plan, is to get that information out to all those entities.
One last question, sorry.
Yes.
I think you said in West Aurora they've got a partnership with Fox Valley Park District. Does that exist in East?
To my knowledge, no. To my knowledge, no.
I didn't think so either. Okay,
Yeah,
thank
yeah.
you.
No
Thank you,
problem.
Mr. Chairman.
Okay. And I guess Natalie and Liz, well, let me ask, did you say Smith School that you were in School District 129? Smith? Was Smith one of the schools? You're not, okay. Where, are you looking to go in there?
I do believe that there are current schools, so the schools that we're not serving in 129 were already being served by either Citizen Schools or the Fox Valley Park District.
Right.
And so we have expressed to the district our interest in expanding and serving more schools, and it's just a matter of identifying which schools have a need. If there's a need, we are ready to step up and fill
All
that.
right, thank you.
Yeah.
Can I just add to that a little bit?
Please.
The funding mechanism, especially unfortunately right now in this time, is really interesting when it comes to grants. So what Natalie mentioned, a good example for 129, they have 3 community partners that serve their after-school programming through the 21st Century Dollars. However, one of the other things that we saw that we really, really appreciated with the Boys and Girls Club is their abilities to have a diverse funding mechanism, so that if in the case of grants not being awarded or re-awarded, they have the abilities to still serve in other capacities and make sure that those programs are funded, which is great to think about in these times where sustainable funding can be an issue, right? So I just wanted to add to that.
Yeah, appreciate it, thank you. And then Natalie and Liz, since Boys and Girls Club have been doing this since 1993, I think you mentioned, so you have a great track record to build upon, and I'm glad you're here helping us provide these programs for our youth here. In your experience, the percentage of kids that we're reaching thus far, is it comparable to other communities that you're in?
Can you specify when you say the percentage of students?
Well, I mean, it can't be a number-wise because every school district has different age kids and different numbers of kids. So in terms of percentages, those that are attending school and those that are actually participating.
Yes, we do see that. I will say typically, so we've been in Elgin the longest, and we do see what I would call higher saturation, where more students from that at school, because of greater awareness, more retention, we do have a little bit higher participation. But for our newer schools, so we mentioned we started in Aurora, Fern and Goodwin were 2 of our first schools. Those are already at capacity, and we expanded our capacity to pull kids off the wait list. For some of our newer schools where it was the first year, it's kind of been hard to get the word out. I think parents are less familiar with our program, and so we welcome the partnership with the city to help bridge that gap and create awareness so that we can serve more students and meet our capacity.
Well, let me just offer, if you need an alderman's signature, I'm happy to help out. Just let me know. So
Thank you.
I could
We'll hold you
recommend.
to it, sir.
Because I think that's key to the children's current, enjoyment and welfare and learning experience, but they're going to be experiencing, hopefully, in adulthood as well, with success and their sense of self and everything that goes with this. So thank you for your answer. Is there, I guess, well, I think I'll save that for another day, but I appreciate, the opportunity to partner with you, and I like, the history of what you have been doing, and look forward to these programs being implemented in our community, so.
Thank you.
Thank you.
very much.
Any
Thank you
further
for the
discussion?
opportunity.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Moved by Alderwoman Garza, second by Alderman Lash. Any further discussion one more time? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion carried. Good luck, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Simon.
Thank you so much.
Any other business to come before the PHS&T committee?
Motion to adjourn.
Motion made by Alderman Lash. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Alderwoman Garza. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed. We are adjourned at 3:57 p.m. Thank you.